Questions and Answers for a World in Crisis. Today, we learn from Sri Aurobindo and Mother about progress. The Mother. Progress is the sign of the divine influence in creation. Progress, the reason why we are on earth. The purpose of earthly life is progress. If you stop progressing, you will die. Every moment that you spend without progressing is one step closer to your grave. One has always something to learn and a progress to make. And in each circumstance, we can find the occasion of learning the lesson and making the progress. In 1950, Mother wrote, "Progress, to be ready at every minute, to give up all one is and all one has in order to advance on the way." In 1954, there is no end to progress, and every day one can learn to do better what one does. Do not think of what you have been. Think only of what you want to be, and you are sure to progress. Do not look behind. Look always in front at what you want to do, and you are sure of progressing. Let us keep flaming in our heart the fire of progress. 1954. Again, two more in 1954. What cannot be done today will surely be done later on. No effort for progress has ever been made in vain. Let us progress ourselves. It is the best way of making others progress. The true progress is to come always closer to the divine. The world progresses so rapidly that we must be ready at any moment to overpass what we know in order to know better. Everybody and everything can always progress, and I am always working in view of a possible improvement, knowing that the greatest difficulty brings always the greatest victory, and I trust you are with me for that. Perfection is not a summit. It is not an extreme. There is no extreme. Whatsoever you do, there is always the possibility of something better, and exactly this possibility of something better is the very meaning of progress. The true progress is to come always closer to the divine. Each year that passes must be marked by a new progress towards perfection. In 1952, she writes, "Try to enjoy doing everything you do. When you are interested in what you do, you enjoy doing it. To be interested in what you do, you must try to do it better and better. In progress lies true joy." Open yourself more and more to the divine's force, and your work will progress steadily towards perfection. (1972) Mother writes, "For a happy and effective life, the essentials are sincerity, humility, perseverance, and an insatiable thirst for progress. Above all, one must be convinced of a limitless possibility of progress. Progress is youth. At 100 years of age, one can be young." The best way of not becoming old is to make progress the goal of our life. Sri Aurobindo. Such is the type of our progress. It is the advance of an ignorant and purblind, but always light-attracted spirit, a being half animal, half God, stumbling forward through the bewildering jungle of its own errors. This characteristic of human mentality shows itself in the opposition we create between conservation and progress. Nothing in the universe can really stand still, because everything there is a mold of time. And the very essence of time is change by a movement forward. It is true that the world's movement is not in a straight line. There are cycles, there are spirals, but still it circles. Not round the same point always, but round an ever-advancing center. And therefore it never returns exactly upon its old path, and never goes really backward. As for standing still, it is an impossibility, a delusion, a fiction. Only the spirit is stable. The soul and body of things are in eternal motion. And in this motion, there are three determining powers of the past, future, and present. The present, a horizontal and constantly shifting line without breadth between a vast realized infinity that both holds back and impels, and a vast unrealized infinity that both repels and attracts. The past is both a drag and a force for progress. Since we are imperfect and evolutionary beings, this study of the laws of life is bound to envisage two aspects. It perceives the rule of what is and the rule of what may or ought to be, the law of our actualities and the law of our potentialities. The latter takes for the human intellect, which tends always to an arbitrary and emphatic statement of things, the form of a fixed ideal standard or set of principles, from which our actual life is a fall and deviation, or towards which it is a progress and aspiration. State is born upon state, covering after covering, becomes conscious of knowledge. In the lap of the mother, the soul sees. This, at least, is the highest hope, the possible destiny that opens out before the human view. And it is a possibility which the progress of the human mind seems on the way to redevelop. If the light that is being born increases, if the number of individuals who seek to realize the possibility in themselves and in the world grows large, and they get nearer the right way, then the Spirit who is here in man, now a concealed divinity, a developing light and power, will descend more fully as the avatar of a yet unseen and unguessed Godhead from above into the soul of mankind and into the great individualities in whom the light and power are the strongest. There will then be fulfilled the change that will prepare the transition of human life from its present limits into those larger and purer horizons. The earthly evolution will have taken its great impetus upward and accomplished the revealing step in a divine progression of which the birth of thinking and aspiring man from the animal nature was only an obscure preparation and a far-off promise.